Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, it's late. It's about it's about 11 p.m. at night. As you can see in the live chat, for those of you that will be joining me, if you do, there is a bit of product placement. Yes, this is from my Teespring store. This is one of the items you can get in my Teespring store. Excuse me there. That you can get there. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and talk about a few things Sonic related. And um, I do apologize if I have an abrupt interruption. I kind of leave for a second because my mom will probably be showing up, and I'm gonna, need to talk to her and everything, and see what's going on, stuff like that. But anyway, like I said. This is this is a live stream, like I said, where I want to talk about various Sonic topics that I've talked about already and expand on them a bit as best I can. And first of all, as you probably read in the description, Super Chats, Super Stickers are open. Venmo and Cash App are indeed open as well, and are one of, if not the best way to ask me, bring up something related to the Sonic topics, or to the Sonic topics I'm talking about. You can use, in my best ways I get instantly, Venmo or Cash App to help me out. $1, $5 is, to me, probably the best direction you can go with when it comes to this kind of stuff. But yeah, basically, like I said, just wanted to come on here and talk about a variety of Sonic topics, and it looks like Sonic Movie 3 is trending. I don't know why it's trending so hard. I mean, I know that basically today, I believe, is the first official day, or it's the preview night of Comic-Con. I'm not really sure. A lot of things are trending. So I don't know exactly what's happening. Maybe you guys can let me in on that. But yeah, I just wanted to, like I say, come on here and kind of expand on some topics that I've talked about before. For example, and again, I do apologize for any interruptions in the near future. For example, basically, the first topic I want to talk about, as I am about, what am I at 3 minutes and 35 seconds. The first topic I want to kind of expand on that I've talked about before is 2 days ago, marked on July 19th, marked 5 years. Yeah, it's hard to believe, 5 years since the Archie Sonic book came to an end. Yeah, 5 years. That's hard to believe it's been that long. And it still, I guess you could say, it still kind of boggles the mind a little bit, because, like I said in the live stream, in response to it, or not live stream, in the video, this shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened because, let's be honest, Ken Penders does need to take some, if not most of the blame. He could have easily just said, hey, you're using my characters, that's great, that's all I should be happy about, right? Nope. He got upset because he wasn't being paid royalties. Now, I know some of you might say, well, he has a right. And he does. He does have a right to, being paid for his creations, but still, it's like, look, these people are trying to, give your characters, a second chance. And it's with a new audience, or at least introduce them to a new audience. And, you're standing in the way of that happening, but obviously he didn't care. Or something like that. He just obviously didn't care. But yeah, it's it's something that really is, like I said, very surprising to to look at when you get down to it, when you really get when you really get down to it. It's surprising to look at because, like I said, because of the fact that I don't think he had an idea. I don't think he knew. What people like Ian Flynn, were trying to do. I don't think he knew. I think all he cared about, was how he wanted the characters to be portrayed. And there's a difference with that. There is a major difference, in how you want your characters portrayed over the way they're being presented. There's a major difference, and he needed to realize that. In my opinion, he needed to realize that. But he didn't. And I've always felt that if he would have just let them know, hey, I have certain limitations when it comes to how my characters are treated. If he would have, at least gave like before he left, if he'd known his characters were going to continue on, which he should have, he should have at least, in my opinion, let it be known that he doesn't want his characters killed off in any form, shape, form, fashion. He doesn't want any changes done to them. He wants them to remain the same. And that if, they could do that, then cool. No problems, right? But that didn't happen because here's the thing. It's like I said when I talked about one of the possible reasons, in my opinion, that this happened. Okay, one of the possible reasons. And one of those possible reasons was Mobius years later. He didn't like what happened. I mean, true, he wasn't too keen on pretty much, his characters, his IPs being changed and utilized in different ways. And speaking of Ken, apparently he has a new website that'll be going online before Comic-Con for his Lawless Sue Chronicles and stuff, and it's going to be a gallery of artwork and stuff, so that's going to be interesting. And Saturday I'm Historian 5 hours ago even tweeted him back. Did you get permission to release the prints on Saturday? Did you get permission to release prints of the Saturday DVD box set art again? I remember you saying you got permission from Michelle to make a limited number of, a limited number of official authorized prints and shirts. So yeah, it looks like Ken. I don't know. What his not Ken. Yeah, but yeah. I don't know what Ken's issues are or anything. I don't know what his issues are. But it's like, dude, you should know better when it comes to, to working for a comic. Yeah, did he find a loophole that allowed him to keep the characters when he did the lawsuit? Absolutely, he found a loophole. There's no doubt he did. There is no doubt he found a loophole. Let's be honest. He did find that loophole. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You know, like I said, here's the thing. Like I said, he could have easily, in my opinion, okay, just worked something out. Like if he knew he was leaving, and he knew that there was some kind of contract that obviously he did sign, which has been more revealed now in recent months, in this past year so far, than ever. That's proving in the eyes of a lot of people that he made, stuff up, that he lied, to the courts, which I believe is going to come back and haunt him in the future. It's going to come back and haunt him once that gets settled. Once that's putting him at peace together, it's going to come back to haunt him, and he knows it. He absolutely knows it. But had he signed these, agreements, these contracts, all he had to do, honestly, was just say, "Look, I'll sign these." Well, not say, "Look," but all he had to do was tell, Archie Comics and the crew in charge of the book, "I'll let you use my characters as long as one, this contract states that I can get some kind of residual royalties, like some kind of payment, even though I know I don't really own these characters, even though I created them, I don't really own them because I made them for a licensed book." He could have said, he could have basically said, "Hey, look, here's what I'm putting in the contract. You can use the characters however you want, not however you want, but you can use the characters in your story, as long as A, I get paid a certain amount of money as royalties for the characters being used since I created them, and two, you cannot change the characters whatsoever. You cannot do anything to the characters, change them, kill them, or whatever. You can't do nothing to them or the stories I created." That's all he had to do. All he had to do was just come out and say, "Hey, the contract states you can use the characters and, the stories I created on the condition that I get paid some kind of royalty fee, and you can't change anything about them. About the characters, you can't kill them off, you can't change their appearance or anything, you gotta keep them the way they are. As well as with my stories, you gotta keep them the way they are, and all you can do is extend on it, and if you try to change it in any way, shape, or form, I can take legal action." That's all he had to do. That's all he had to do, when he was leaving with, put it in the contract that, hey, you can use the characters as long as I get some kind of payment, you can use my stories as long as I get some kind of payment, but the catch is you can't change the characters and you can't alter or change the stories. That's all he had to do. And none of this would have happened. None of these troubles would have happened, in my opinion. None of them. None of these, troubles would have happened. And, his thing, he knows very, very well that's the truth. He knows it. He knows that to be the truth. But did he even try to work something out? Did he try to call them and say, "Hey, here," or even fax them, his copy of the contract? Because obviously he had one. If he brought it up, obviously he had one. Couldn't he, fax them his copy of the contract saying, here's this, and try to work something out with them? Yeah, of course. Of course he could have worked something out with them. But he didn't. And whether or not you believe the fact that his wife's the one that encouraged him to take action, that's up to you. That's up to you. Whether you feel his wife, encouraged him to take action or not, that's up to you. But the fact is, he because he did what he did, from behind the scenes, legally, not just with Archie, but then with Sega, or at least an attempt at Sega, which got tossed. Yeah, he does, like I say, share most of the blame for what happened. Now, is Ian Flynn out of the woodworks? No. Ian's not out of the woodworks. And I'll explain why. You see, Ian, as I mentioned before in the videos, could have easily, and I mean easily, let the fans know, hey, this is what's happening, this is what's going on, or in some capacity, let us know, hey, this is what's happening, this is what's going on, there might be a change here in the future, so, just be on the lookout. But, he didn't do that. What did he do instead? What did he do instead, ladies and gentlemen? I'll tell you what he did. All he did, honestly, and this is the truth, all he did, honestly, was just change things. He didn't really say much. All he did was have, basically take the orders he was getting, change the covers from what the original covers were to, basically something different, or something identical, if not the same except for one missing item. Change the font in the story. Basically edit out or alter certain scenes to where you as the reader notice that something is off a little bit. You as the reader, you notice something is off a little bit. That because when you read the book, you're thinking, okay, we're going to get this character, but instead you get these characters, and you have Ian Flynn play off like, oh, I was always meant to be the plan the whole time. When we know it wasn't, and Ian Flynn even admitted later on in his Lost Hedgehog tales that wasn't the plan. The whole Lita Lyco thing? Yeah, he played it off at first like, oh, that was always the plan, they were always meant to show up. But then later on in his Lost Hedgehog tales, what does he say? What does he come out and say? And admit to? And even, I think, says this in the Bonecast podcast. What does he say? He says and admits that no, it wasn't supposed to be Lita and Lyco of the Wolfpack. It was supposed to be Hershey. It was supposed to be Hershey. But that he couldn't do that due to legal means. And, like I said, had he just let us know that something was afoot, something was up, something was going to change, something was going to happen, I don't think any of us would have had an issue whatsoever with it. None of us. None of us would have had an issue. But that does bring me to something else. When we look at this legal issue, and we can, talk about, the royalties and everything, Ken being influenced by his wife to copyright his characters, him not being happy that this happened and that happened. But an audio I recorded this morning and then made into a video earlier today and uploaded, I think, I think what I mentioned in there, I still stand by. I really do. I still stand by it because I feel that this, to me, as I mentioned in the description, and I talk about in the video, this to me created the domino effect. This, and hello to Blade and Dylan, FTW, FTL, thank you. But anyway, what I'm trying to say, is I've always had this strong belief, that honestly, and this is just my opinion, honestly, what started the domino effect was when Ken Penders' Mobius 25 years later, or Mobius years later, was altered and changed by Ian Flynn. Now, Ian, it was one of his first stories that he did when he got on the book. Ian tried to create closure, for the original story arc that Ken had done, because that one ended on a cliffhanger. And obviously, he took some notes from what Ken had, originally planned, or some of the ideas Ken had originally planned for the book, and that was it. That was about it. And then he went off in its own direction. And true, it was a proper conclusion. And I think even Ken liked it to an extent, but also didn't like some of the changes that were made. So yeah, he obviously he liked it, but didn't like some of the changes, that were being made, obviously. And you would think Mobius years later would be done there, right? You think it would be done there, but nope. Not Ken, but Ian decides, and I think this is what really tipped Ken off, because even though he was, I assume, was cool with the conclusion, but not so cool with some of the changes, even though some of them were spot off his ideas, and I think that might have made him mad as well, or upset him as well. I think what really caused the domino effect to occur was when basically Ian Flynn decided to continue the Mobius years storyline, or Mobius years later storyline, and he decided to do it by taking it 5 years later into the future. But then this was the catch, and I don't think it was a catch that came about because of the continuation, the sequel, if you will, but it was a catch all of his own. And what happened basically was when Mobius 30 years later came out as a 4-part Sonic Universe story arc, which was also somewhat of a silver story arc, basically continuing his search for whoever the traitor was at that time. Basically, what happened here, and again, I know I'm kind of rambling, and I should be getting to the point here, I do apologize, but I think what happened here was when Ian Flynn made the announcement that he and Archie Comics were looking at the Mobius years later arc in continuity as an alternate universe, as another dimension, as an alternate timeline, as a what-if scenario, I think that's what ticked Ken off. I think that's what I think that honestly is what ticked Ken off. The fact that at first he was cool with the sequel, probably wasn't expecting it, didn't like some of the changes, especially when they were, especially some of the changes being spawned from ideas, or some of his ideas being used, and for continuation, and then some changes made and all that. Again, I'm sure he was cool with the sequel, not so thrilled, but kind of okay with the ideas being used, but not so cool and okay with, some of the things being changed. So I don't think that was much of an issue. Like I said, he was okay with, it being continued, some of the ideas being used that obviously he was planning to use, but not too thrilled with some of the changes. But when it came to Mobius 30 years later, the Universe 4-parter, which was also serving as a silver arc, and is also sort of planting the seeds for what the new generation of Freedom Fighters would be, I think that's what caused the domino effect of him wanting to copyright his characters, copyright his stories, get paid for them, or take complete ownership of them. Because like I said, when Ian Flynn revealed, on his behalf and Archie Sonic's behalf, Archie Comics that is, that they were now viewing the years later continuity as an what-if scenario, a alternate timeline, an alternate dimension, an alternate future, a what if deal, like I said. And hold on for a sec, be right back. I decided that, guys, I'll probably chapter that part out. Probably put these in chapters. So I do apologize for that brief interruption. To take care of stuff. I do apologize. Um, I don't think it was that long, was it? Probably was. I do apologize. But like I said, I'll chapter it out. I'll go like, here's this, here's that, whatever. But anyway, continuing on. Like I said, I honestly think, in my opinion, you know, um, when the whole thing with Mobius years later occurred, and the changes where basically they decided to make it an alternate universe. I think to me, that to me is what caused the domino effect to happen. And hello to Robert Brown from Lafayette, nice to see you. But like I said, that's when the domino effect, I think, kind of started to take effect because, like I said, he was probably all right with the continuation of the original story, even with a few changes here and there that he may not agree with, and maybe didn't appreciate his ideas being used in the way they were. Maybe he was. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I think honestly though, when they decided to continue the story 5 years later in Sonic Universe, naming it Mobius 30 years later, and and uh, gosh.
Well, I'll call you back. Yeah, you'll be up. I know, but I want to take my shower, get it out of the way. Okay? Okay, I'll call you back. Don't worry. Okay? Talk to Ryan for a little bit. I'm not gonna be up late. Oh no. Then if I don't call you back, it's too late. If you don't answer, then yeah, but I want to go take my shower, Steph. Because I just got home. Yeah, I just got in the door just before, not even 15 minutes I haven't been here. Okay, here's Brian. Talk to her. Talk to her, Brian. No, I'm gonna take my shower.
Okay, I'm gonna have to really chapter this up or something. I do apologize, guys. I am back. Like I said, I do apologize for that. Had a feeling something like that was gonna happen, but imminent Christmas. And I do apologize if any more interruption happens. No, I'm gonna just have to tell her that she wants her to call it back and that's it. But man, I'm gonna have to chapter this up. This is what happens when you do live stream, and some of the people I'm subscribed to that do live streams, like just Alex and all them, they know what I'm going through when it comes to this. So I do apologize. But anyway, what was I? Yeah, I'm gonna have to chapter this up to hell. Oh yeah. Basically, to me, I think it's all a domino effect, is what it was. It was all a domino effect that the moment they changed, the status of the, the moment they changed the status of basically the reality of what Mobius years later was, what Mobius 30 years later, and made it a what-if scenario and an alternate timeline, or a alternate dimension, something like that. I think that's what began the domino effect. I think that's what began the domino effect of, can, at the behest of his wife, if you believe that, take that with a grain of salt if you believe it. But I think that's what began the domino effect of, basically Ken filing for copyright. Because, like I said, he could have easily just contractually said, look, I do not want my characters to be used in this manner. I do not want them used in this manner. Or basically just say, hey, if you're going to use my characters, that's fine, as long as I get something in return. However, I don't want my characters to be, like this, like that. I don't want my stories changed to, that if you're going to continue some of my story arcs, I don't want the stories being changed to this or that. He could have easily done something like, to that extent, if he had a version of the contract or the agreement or whatever. He could have showed it to them. He could have said, look, you can use the characters, but please respect my wishes. But he didn't do that. And I think when Mobius years later, not the Echidna situation, not the Lock being killed off and all that, being the reasoning that he wanted the copyright, I think it was the Mobius years later deal, like I said in an earlier video, that caused him to basically, at the behest of his wife, like I said, if you believe that or you don't, to, change things up. Just basically saying, I'm taking back my characters, I'm taking back my stories because you don't have respect for them. And it's like, if you didn't, and here's the thing about Mobius years later, I like the story arc. I like the original, I like the continuation, and I thought the 30 years, version was cool too. I enjoyed it. I really did. I really did. I just feel that basically, in my opinion, I just feel basically, in my opinion, that if he didn't want a story like that to be continued, then don't end a story like that off on a cliffhanger. Or maybe go the route, Ian, Flynn, and Archie and all of them did. Just go the route of saying, hey, this is another time, another place like they've done before. This is a possible future, like he also hinted at it being, but it's not the future. It's a possible what-if deal. And things could have been fine. Things could have been fine. I mean, even when he added that little text at the end of the initial story arc of Mobius 25 years later, yeah, he probably did that because he knew people would be questioning, like, really, this is the future? But what he was doing, in my opinion, was planting the seeds of this is possibly, or not this is possibly, but that what we were reading was the future, but how we get there is, up in the air. Like it's like we'll still get the future, but whether or not what we saw in that story occurs is up to what the current present of the characters, decides on. But it's just, it's just to me, it's just to me that he should have been more prepared. Like if he knew eventually he was going to leave the book, and he knew maybe some of his story arcs and concepts and characters might get utilized by the newer writers. Again, he should have just, like I said earlier, he should have just, gone out and put it in the contract of, hey, don't do this and don't do that. But he didn't do it. And he has no one but himself to blame for that. He has no one but himself to blame for that. Period. And I'm going to test something out here, guys, for just one moment. I'm going to test something out. Just out of curiosity. I did get paid by YouTube today, or yesterday I should say now. So I'm just going to test something out real quickly. Hope nothing's getting held back. Okay. Just testing it. Yeah, it looks like it went through. That's good. Yeah, I'm kind of paying myself, if you will, but I'm just testing something here. But yeah, if you guys got any super chats you want to help donate to, that's be appreciative, and super stickers as well. What I put there is a good example of what, if you wanted to just add, that's fine. And then of course the Teespring store, or the Teespring store up here in the items there. It's just the item you see there is just one of the items you can get. But like I said, all Ken had to do was just make it easy on himself. Just contact Archie after he left. Fax them, email them if he could. I don't know if it was possible to email images at that time. But fax them, a copy, and then FedEx, mail, UPS, DHL, whatever. Them a copy of the agreement he signed, and then have a little, addendum in there saying, hey, you could use these characters. This is what my lawyers wrote up, saying you can use the characters as long as I get something paid, but there's a few steps, there's a few amendments, if you will, that have to be followed up on. One, you don't change the characters in any shape or form, and you don't mess with my stories, in any shape or form. You leave them as they are if you're going to continue them or play around with them. And that's it. That's all he had to do. But he didn't do that. He did not do that. And it's really a shame. It's really a shame that he didn't attempt to do something like that, because I think it would have saved a lot of headaches. And like I said earlier, is Ian out of the woods? No, because he could let us know what was happening. But yeah, I truly believe Mobius years later, when Ian Flynn decided, along with Archie Comics, decided to say, hey, this is a different story arc. Or not different story, but this is an alternate universe. This is an alternate timeline. This is an alternate dimension. And hold on for a second, we'll be right back. 1 minute, 1 hour. sorry about that. Like I said, I'm probably going to be chopping this chapter twice the heck. That's what it feels like right now. So I do apologize for a lot of the interruptions. So I'll be like I said, probably working on chopping this to heck, if you will. But yeah, like I said, they should have just, in my opinion, just my opinion here, they should have, Ken should have just, faxed the thing. And again, long story short, I don't think anything would have happened if he would have taken the right procedures. In my opinion, took the right procedures and basically said, look, you can use my characters, you can use my stories, but don't change them. Don't do anything that's going to change, what the story premise is or originally was about. Don't try to do this to a character or that to a character. Leave it as it is. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that, and because he didn't do that, that gave, free range, in my opinion, to, that gave free range, in my opinion, to them. It gave free range to Ian Flynn, to the other writers on the book, to say, "Ooh, okay, we can do this. That's not a problem." It gave them free range, and it's all because Ken, in my opinion, didn't take the proper precautions, and he should have. He should have taken the proper precautions, but he didn't. He didn't take the proper precautions. And it is crazy, really. It's just really crazy to think about because, like I said, this easily could have been avoided, in my opinion. This, easily, could have been avoided, in my opinion. Easily could have been avoided. But what are you gonna do? It just never happened. But anyway, like I said, I know this has gone on a lot. It's gone on a lot longer than it should have. But again, I do apologize for the interruptions. Like I said, I'm probably gonna be, I'm gonna probably be chopping this into chapters to heck, if you will. So that way you don't have to listen to any of the interruptions that you may accidentally hear. So, yeah. Again, that's what happens when you do live stream, man. You just gotta deal with it. Just gotta deal with it. But yeah, long story short, when it comes to Mobius years later, like I said in my video, I believe that's what caused, in my opinion, the downward spiral. The downward spiral, the domino effect, if you will, of Ken Penders, copyrighting his characters. Because they decided to alter years later, in my opinion. So, anyway, that's just my opinion. Like I said in the video, that's just how I feel. That's how I look at it. But now on to another thing, and again, I'll be dividing this into a lot of chapters. This middle portion is probably going to be chapter to heck, if you know what I mean. But this next one, at not a minute, but an hour and 15 and 45 seconds, let's talk about more on the 252 story arc that came out by Archie Sonic Online. And like I said in the video, in the audio video review, this was great. This was tremendous. I love the fact that even though I'm a fan of Sally and I don't like seeing her like this, I love the fact that they still are building continuity-wise on the fact that she's still traumatized. She is still traumatized on what she did as Mecha Sally. So I like that they kind of continued that because she should be out there being a leader. Like, okay, guys, do this, do that, do that, do this. Like she normally did, or normally does. But because of what she's been through, and now she's seeing this, it's she's too much for her. But I've got a feeling with her hearing her brother coming to the forefront, and then probably seeing that Sonic is the one that was able to kind of eventually, as we'll find out in 253, restore things. I think she will start to slowly get back together. Like she's going to see the bravery of her friends, see the bravery of the person she loves doing all this, and her own flesh and blood. I think that's going to wake something up in her. Like, okay, I can't sit on the sidelines anymore. It's like, yes, I did this as Mecha Sally, but I cannot let that hold me back. And I think what's being planned. I think what's being planned, in my opinion, is I think what they've got lined up, just again, my opinion on this, I think what they got lined up, maybe, is after 253, they're going to probably do a new comic. In my opinion, they're probably going to do a new comic. In my opinion. And the reason I say they're going to probably do a new comic is it'll be a comic that stays within this continuity, but will serve as an Archie Sonic Online sequel to the Princess Sally arc. That's what I think is going to not arc, but the Princess Sally miniseries from back in the mid to late 90s. I think that's what's going to happen. And if you want to know why I feel that way, it just feels like they're building towards it. And if that's what they're going to do, if that's what they're building towards, in my opinion, for the future, for future stories on Archie Sonic Online, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it because like I said, if that's the plan they plan to do, or that's what they plan to do, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So that's what I believe is going to be the next. That's what I feel is going to be the next direction they go. I think that's going to be the next direction they're going to go because like I said, I think, and I do apologize, my mom's on speakerphone, my sister, and they get loud sometimes. I do apologize for that. If I get distracted. But like I said, I firmly believe that that's where we're heading. Now, it's mere speculation. Archie Sonic Online could be doing their own thing, that's fine. But I have this firm belief that what we get here, what we got in 251, what we got in 250, I think is leading us to them doing a new story arc, and probably, like I said, a sequel in their interpretation to the original miniseries for Sally. But this will be like a redemption arc, like it will be a redemption miniseries for her to get back to who she is. This will probably, from their interpretation, have her shed her old clothes, like shed her old skin, put on her new outfit that we saw in the soft retcon reboot or reboot retcon, whatever you want to call it. Kind of maybe shave her fur, or they can keep it. Her cheek fur, or they can keep it. Maybe have her put on the gloves with the inhibitor rings that turn into blades. And the end result will be her being like, hey, the only way I'm going to get over what I've done is to embrace what I became. And I think that's what's going to, or embrace, what I became, but for the right reasons. And I think that's what's going to happen. Like, she's going to, incorporate basically what she was as Mecha Sally into the look that we saw, her sport in, like I said, the reboot and retcon. But Archie Sonic Online is going to, like I say, do this, in my opinion, through a miniseries. Like what they're doing with like what they're doing with Mobius Legends and all that. That's its own little miniseries, own little side stories. And we see what they're doing with Knuckles' Endangered Species, which originally was part of the main Sonic book. Now it's its own miniseries. I think they're going to do something with Sally. Some's just leading me to, to believe that's where we're heading. It makes a lot of sense. What I'm trying to say is it makes a lot of sense for that to happen. Not saying it will. Not saying it's going to, but I feel it makes more sense, in my opinion, for them to do that, because you're planting the seeds that, yes, she's going to be back. She's going to be back on track. Whether it's in 253 or 254 or whatever. This, to me, is, her acting the way she is, even after having all this pep talk given to her, is leading to her possibly having her own adventures. Having her own adventures with some old friends, some comrades that will snap her out of it, and maybe from an astral plane, visual, virtual reality kind of deal, she'll confront what she became. Because they always say you have to confront what you were to get over it, or to accept what you had done and try to redeem yourself from it. And I think, honestly, her going down that journey, I think, will be, the opportunity that Archie Sonic Online will take to fully bring her back, as well as, in my opinion, incorporate the new look that she has. But do it in a way that, kind of stays true to what Ian Flynn originally wanted to do. If what Ben Bates is said to have mentioned is to be believed to an extent. That's just my opinion. But again, it's one of those situations to where the seeds are being planted in this story. Not just with this story, but the previous stories. They're being planted. And I think that's where we're heading. But the story overall, I thought was good. I really thought it was good. Like I said, the one moment that really sticks out is Sonic basically pissed off. Because, again, like I mentioned in the review, in the initial review, he, Naga is, now possessing Jeffrey's body, admits to Sonic, because he thinks he has the upper hand, oh yeah, I'm the one that ticked off Robotnik about, Elias and his family leaving Metropolis. I'm the one that did that. I'm the reason your friend's in a coma right now. And what did that do? That pissed Sonic off to the point that when Eliza showed up to use the sword of Acorns to try to stop Jeffrey, and obviously looked like it wasn't going to happen, Sonic took it and basically decided to take the final blow, or use the final blow, with the spirit of Antron, not dead yet, but with the spirit of Antron by his side, who was also pissed off. But yeah, the story arc to me, not the story, but the issue to me was good. I thought it was a good continuation. And like I said in the review, if you have the ink to print out this issue and make it into an issue, staple it together and all that, it'll feel like an actual Archie Sonic issue, not something that's fan continued like, it is, and Team's season is. But, to me, I feel like, this, when we get to 253, it's going to be memorable. To me, 253 is going to be worthy of some of those finales. And like I said, this here, and I do recommend checking out the story. I provided a link in the original review. Check that out. In fact, Let me see if I can pick it up here somewhere. Hold on. Hold on for a sec. Hold on. Well, here's the link right here, so you guys can check it out for yourselves. But anyway, like I said, you have to check it out. It's really good. And the conclusion to it next time they release the follow-up, which is 253, probably within the next 6 months or a year, I think will be worth the wait. I really do. But like I said, when you look at Sally's reaction in the story, when you look at, and I do apologize. There we go. Yeah, it was just a notification that came up. But anyway, like I said, when you look at how Sally reacts here, then she hears his brother begging to come back, saying what he says, admitting that he's always been around, he's just been in hiding, been part of this group and all that. Hearing that, basically that's giving her a bit of encouragement, and then probably viewing Sonic about to do what he's going to do in the next issue. I think that, along with who she'll probably witness when she goes back out there to probably try to get that courage back, and as well as what we got before, that's planting the seeds for a Princess Sally miniseries by online. And again, I think if that's the direction to go, that's what she's going to not only find herself again, confront what she's done, confront that path that she had, but I think that's when she's going to basically shed her skin, don the outfit that she donned in 252, or what she was originally supposed to get had no lawsuits occurred in the original story, and then make her come back, as herself again, learning that, hey, I cannot let what I did in the past hold me back. I cannot let my my misdeeds that were not my own, hold me back. And what I think it's also leading towards too, speaking of Sally, and we'll get into this in a moment, it's leading to something that, depending on how long they do this, believe me, it's going to be worth possibly, the price of admission to a movie theater to see it on the big screen. But yeah, overall, this story arc to me is good. I highly recommend checking it out for yourself. I think honestly you will enjoy it. In my opinion, you will enjoy it. Now, with that said, let's move on to one of the last things I want to talk about, because it's getting late. Like I said, I'm going to have to chapterize this to heck later on. But let's get to the last thing we're talking about. This does have to deal with Sally, and how I think Archie Sonic Online is eventually going to portray her when she gets back on her feet mentally, and all that, after, like I said, the direction I believe they're going to take her with her own miniseries and everything following 253 and such. And what I think is going to happen is they're going to build. This is what I predict, and I could be wrong. But I think what they're going to do is they're going to build towards the story. I'm sure this is on the plate. I'm sure this is on the plate of stories they want to do. But I think what they're going to plan to do with Sally, as far as, her being herself again, trying, basically getting over what she did, learning to live with it, and, allowing that to make her mission to restore Mobius, to its original state, free from Eggman, even more important, more motivated. I think what they're going to have her do is she's going to start showing that encouragement, well, not encouragement, showing that redemption. She's going to start showing that she's back in future stories. And again, depending on how long they go with this, I think we're going to have, because they obviously got to build to what would be like a culmination, a final confrontation, or at least one of the final, or not final, but one of the up and coming battles that serves as sort of a break from the norm like 200 did, the original book. So I think what's going to happen, in my opinion, is they're going to do it, like I said, they're going to go down the path I believe they're going to go down with her. And then when we get back to the regular book with her in it, fully gone through everything that I mentioned, we're going to build to what I think they're going to do, and again, it could be wrong, is they're going to build towards one of those interim battles, one of those interim final battles with Eggman. And basically, Sally's going to be the one that basically beats the crap out of him. She's going to see him. He's going to see her. He's going to see that she's got a new look. She's going to bring out the blades. That's going to worry him. And she's just basically going to beat the crap out of him. Like, Sonic's going to be like, he's all yours. And she's just going to go to town. She's going to go to town to the point that it looks like she's about to let, the vengeance she wants on him to overtake her to where she's going to hit the final blow. Till Eggman finally says the words, "I surrender." The Eggman Empire surrenders. And then all she does is just goes, maybe like just for comedic relief, goes boop with the blade on the nose. Or she cuts off his mustache, or slices it off, kind of reminiscent of him pulling it off in 200 when he went nuts. And basically saying, "It's over. You've lost." Or basically saying something like, "I hereby place you under arrest." And then that's it. And then we take a break from the norm for who knows how long Archie, Sonic Online will want to do it. So yeah. I firmly believe that's what they plan to do with Sally. They plan to have her, when they do that eventual next interim final confrontation with Eggman before taking a break to probably bring in somebody else in the past, another villain in the past or whatever, maybe Snively again, who knows. I think she's the one that's going to have the final, like blow to him, like, she's going to make it look like she's going to kill him until he finally just admits surrender. And then she's just going to cut off his mustache and then say, as the princess of the kingdom of Acorn, I place you under arrest. And I accept, or as the princess of the royal family of Mobius, I accept your surrender. And that's it. And again, it'll take a break from the norm, in my opinion, and then maybe after, I would say 5 issues at most, 5-6 issues at most, not a year's worth like the Iron Dominion was, but maybe 5-6 issues at the most. Then we'll go back to the status quo. But I think that's what they're leaning towards, Sally, to where they're going to give her own miniseries, side story to redeem herself with, get her a new look. Bring her back to herself. But I think they're also going to do that. But not do that. But I think they're also going to have her, be the one that gets the final, face off with Eggman and everything because of what he did to her, and he's basically going to get the living crap beat out of him, I believe. Now I could be wrong and all that. And like I said earlier, 253 is where she could just come back and be herself, saying, "Hey, if my brother can take responsibility for lying to the people and not telling them that he was actually always there the whole time, then I should take responsibility for what I've done, then that's fine too." But we'll see. We'll see what they do. In my opinion, we'll see what they do. But honestly, like I said, I think it's just I think it's just a matter of how they approach it. But there's no doubt, depending on which direction they go with after 253, that they're gonna have to write in a face-off with Robotnik, and they're gonna have to write in her, basically letting out all her anger and vengeance on him, and basically coming close to wanting to take him out for good until he surrenders, and she says something along the lines of, "On behalf of the kingdom of Acorn, as princess, I accept your surrender." and that's it. But we'll see what they do. But yeah, I think the direction they got planned for Sally, I think is going to really surprise a lot of people. Not only will I believe, not only do I believe it's going to tie in to her getting the new look that she did in the original book, but I think it's going to build towards her getting not only redeemed and everything to her own little side stories and miniseries, but I think it's also going to lead to her being the one that finally confronts Robotnik in that interim, not Robotnik, but Eggman in that interim final battle that gives us a break from the norm again down the line. When they get to it, how they have it planned out, I'm not totally sure. They might already have it planned out, I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, that's what I feel Archie Sonic Online's got planned for Sally. I really do. Anyway, though, guys. This has gone on a lot longer than it has, and I do apologize for the interruptions. Like I said, I'm going to probably be chaptering this to heck, if you will. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, how you feel about a lot of the stuff I just mentioned. Again, I do apologize for the interruptions. Like I said, it'll be chaptered, so you can just get to certain topics when you can. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like. Super thanks will be enabled after the premiere has been, after the live stream has been processed fully. Also check me out at Venmo to help donate there. Also help me, at Brian-11-2 at Venmo. Also Cash App at BWRoses98. And as you see in the live stream, in the live chat of the live stream, you can also help me out at my Teespring store. And this podcast will be available in audio very soon on my BWS discussion page site as well, where you can find that at all your favorite podcast locations except for Pandora. Again, guys, I do apologize for the interruptions. They will be chapterized so you can get to certain topics. And until then, guys, you'll have a good night. I gotta get rested up because I gotta work tomorrow at noon, or basically, within the next 11 and a half hours.